For the first time, the RCMP is reportedly preparing to act, not against Lilly Sullivan, not against Daniel Martel, but against the one man who's claimed, all along, to know the truth. It started with a whisper. A leaked audio.
Later this afternoon, I got to them. Oh boy, and I can't say who they are, and I can't really say.
That's fine.
And I can't really say what they told me, but it's ironclad. It's 1,000% true, okay? I know exactly what happened to the kids. The kids are alive.
A man claiming he knew where the missing Sullivan children were, alive, hidden, safe. But 2 months later, nothing. No arrests. No evidence. No kids. Now, that whisper is turning into a legal storm. Darren Geddes, also known as Durwood. Some call him a whistleblower. Others say he's a liar, hiding behind a mask of activism. His cryptic statements, emotional outbursts, and ever-changing storylines have ignited a firestorm across the internet. Viewers, victims, even former searchers, now demanding accountability. If he knows, why hasn't he said where they are? If he doesn't, then why did he derail the entire search? But here's what's changed: new pressure. Online outrage. And reportedly, RCMP action behind the scenes. Is Darren about to be arrested? Is this finally the turning point in the case that's gripped a nation? Before we move forward with this big update, please take a moment to comment below with the city you're watching from. Also, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel to help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and share it with others. Stories like this must be heard, so we can help prevent future tragedies. Thank you. Just weeks after Lilly and Jack vanished, a voice surfaced on the internet. No credentials. Just an audio recording. The kids are alive, probably not in Nova Scotia. That phrase changed everything. Before that file caught attention, the RCMP had treated the case like any other missing persons report: search the woods, analyze video, interview loved ones. No arrests. No charges. No indication of foul play. Then, on June 5th, the audio spread across online platforms. Reddit threads blew up. Facebook groups lit up. Users posted the full recording titled Geddes' Confession or Durwood's Voice. Views and shares skyrocketed overnight. Within 48 hours, traditional media followed. By June 10th, local outlets reported the file existed. Then national coverage questioned, who is this guy? What does he know? But here's what grabbed attention. I got to the person I needed to see, ironclad. 1,000%. He didn't claim to hope. He claimed knowledge. Until that moment, there were no public leads. Just a slow-moving search and growing frustration in the community. But audio like that? It forced a response. It demanded questions. Here's the twist. RCMP sources told a local journalist that after the recording went viral, internal investigations began, not into the mother or father, but into Geddes himself. Was he flaunting real intel? Or drawing attention with a fabricated lead? Another detail surfaced. Geddes referenced Malaya's native people and hinted the kids might not even be in Canada. No official agency had ever suggested cross-border involvement. But suddenly, that became part of the conversation. That shift didn't come from police stations. It came from people online, amplified by the recording. And that's when the RCMP reversed the media narrative. Official statements began to highlight. No evidence supports Darren's claims. No charges have been filed. We continue to investigate all credible leads, they said. But they never said, or denied, whether Geddes was a legitimate source or a suspect. Now the question, did this audio trigger the investigation, or derail it? Because when the file leaked, so did public trust. Once Geddes held the microphone, everyone listened. And now the RCMP is reportedly preparing charges, not just to silence a rumor, but to test whether this voice was credible or clandestine. So we ask again, did Darren Geddes save the day by revealing the truth? Or obscure it by becoming part of the problem? That question, on whether the audio helped or hurt, is exactly where the RCMP stands now. Because they're no longer chasing children. They're chasing a recording. Darren Geddes. A name that surfaced overnight. But who is the man behind the voice? What makes an ordinary person, a private citizen from Nova Scotia, become the central figure in a national child disappearance case? Public records place Geddes in his late 40s. Not from law enforcement. No criminal history. No ties to private investigation firms. But what he lacks in credentials, he made up for with presence, online and off. Within hours after Lilly and Jack vanished, Geddes began posting across Facebook and Reddit. Screenshots show his early involvement. June 3rd, he writes in a Facebook search page, "RCMP is ignoring the obvious. I've got more info." June 6th, a Reddit thread titled, "Did someone hear Darren's recording?" exploded, drawing thousands of comments. He wasn't invited to comment, they let him in. They followed. They amplified. But was this attention organic, or orchestrated? Let's look deeper. Geddes first adopted the alias Durwood online. Observers flagged the pseudonym as one used on conspiracy sites and vigilante forums. One user noted he frequently claimed inside access. He says he's in contact with someone CPS trusts. Yet, no one corroborated it. He spoke about getting to the person I needed to see. But he never named a single official or insider contact. Why? Was he protecting someone, or protecting himself? Geddes also posted cryptic comments attacking the RCMP's handling and calling for vigilante justice. If the system won't act, someone has to. He shared no credentials, no documentation, no proof. But he did promise a revelation. And in a world where the official investigation was going dark, promise was power. In response, users demanded transparency. A researcher on Reddit reported, all it took was 5 minutes of digging to find Geddes' address and posts repeating his claims across local groups. Which means, he wasn't hiding. He wanted to be found. But for what reason? Some viewers call him a whistleblower, someone exposing cover-up. Others call him a showman, riding attention. Geddes claimed to know where Lilly and Jack were. He said they were safe. He said the system would never give them back. But leaked messages show him soliciting donations, clickbait tactics. And questions. Is he using tragedy to build influence? Or is he being silenced for knowing too much? Let's consider what the RCMP reportedly did next. According to a local journalist citing anonymous sources, Geddes was interviewed, not as a program contributor, but as a possible suspect. Sources indicated. No formal charges filed. No public record of arrest. But internal briefs suggested Geddes was under official scrutiny for obstructing the search by withholding information. That's a criminal angle. If someone claims to have proof, but refuses to give it to investigators, they may be interfering with justice. Which brings us back to the core question. Is Geddes a whistleblower? Or a witness withholding evidence? He isn't the only one with questions. YouTube commentators labeled him a con artist. Redditors called for the RCMP to arrest him, so they could force disclosure. One comment read, "If he knew something, the reward is there. Money talks. So why stay silent? The clock starts here." He claims to know. He claims to care. But he refuses to come forward fully. That contradiction is now the centerpiece of the RCMP's case. According to RCMP policy, witnesses with knowledge are required to assist. If Geddes holds knowledge but refuses, he could face charges independent from the disappearance case itself. Which explains the title of this documentary. RCMP to finally make arrest. Darren Geddes and others in trouble. But, before we leap to conclusions, there's another twist. Geddes hasn't just pointed fingers. He's hinted at a larger network. It wasn't me. It was more than one person. And it wasn't strangers. If true, Geddes might not just be a suspect. He might be a gateway to greater involvement. Is the RCMP investigating him, or using him to follow a trail? Because if they're making an arrest soon, it's not just about Geddes. It could be about every name he's mentioned, and every secret he left unsaid. So we return to the core question, one that's now louder than ever. Who is Darren Geddes really? If you have watched this far of the documentary, kudos to you. Kindly subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already, and don't forget to comment below with your city. We are building a family. Back to the big question. Who is Darren Geddes really? A whistleblower with a conscience? A profiteer chasing clicks and cash? Or a reluctant link in a chain leading to the real perpetrators? We're about to find out. But who do you think is Geddes? Tell us in the comment. Because law enforcement has reportedly moved, closing the gap between silence and testimony. And that next moment could change everything. Rumors. Speculation. Now, credible action. After 2 months of silence, the RCMP is reportedly shifting from passive responder to active pursuer. Sources close to the investigation suggest arrest warrants are being drafted, targeting not just Darren Geddes, but associates he's mentioned by name. Internal officer memos, viewed by local media, show renewed urgency. Briefings say Geddes is being examined for obstruction of justice under Canada's Criminal Code, Section 139. That could bring serious consequences even if he never directly caused harm to Lilly and Jack. But those same memos list other names. Logan and Mackenzie. Now the core question has shifted. Is RCMP closing in on the people, or the story they spun? Let's look at what's happening behind the scenes. Warrants are being prepared. Sources say investigators are seeking search powers for Geddes' home, phone records, and digital messages. If approved, they'll have access to private data used to corroborate, or challenge, his claims. Witness interviews are being widened. Earlier, RCMP focused on family and CPS staff. Now, they're seeking digital witnesses, chat logs, unidentified sources, even anonymous tips tracing back to Geddes' network. Pressure from the public. More than 5,000 comments across Reddit, YouTube, and community forums are urging law enforcement, arrest him. Then let's see what he knows. That pressure is now making its way into politics, with opposition MPs calling for public briefings and transparency. Many viewers say, if Geddes knows, arrest him, force him to talk. Is that what's happening? What we don't know, yet, is whether these arrests will focus on concrete evidence, or simply on tactical advantage, silence before disclosure. Public statements are still tight-lipped. Official RCMP press releases repeat the same lines. The investigation is active. We continue to review all leads. No arrests have been made at this time. That phrase, no arrests have been made at this time, has appeared in 6 statements since June 1st, yet never clarifies whether warrants exist behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Geddes himself has gone dark. His public profiles are silent. His messaging apps appear closed. No live streams. No updates. Some commenters see this as guilt by absence. Others believe he's being silenced, forced underground. Could that silence be even more revealing than words? Moving forward, watch for what happens next. Will Geddes appear in court records? Will images surface of RCMP executing search warrants? Will financial and message logs reveal his true connections? And the big question. If arrests do happen, will they expose a rescue, or collapse a story no one can verify? Because this is where the narrative flips. They're not just arresting people. They're deciding which story gets airtime. Is it the story of a whistleblower exposing hidden children? Or the story of a man leading investigators on a chase for nothing? The final twist. If the arrests don't result in public evidence or disclosure of Lilly and Jack's whereabouts, this case could slip back into silence. But at least now, the system is responding. The files are updating. The warrants are real. And the central question stands. Are the authorities going after people, or going after the truth? Over recent weeks, the RCMP has been moving quietly, but deliberately, toward formal action. Now, legal analysts and investigative sources believe the focus will be on something unexpected, not kidnapping, but obstruction of justice, mischief, and possibly criminal conspiracy. Why these charges? And what could they reveal? Obstruction of justice, Criminal Code Section 139. If Darren Geddes knowingly withheld information, especially about the alleged whereabouts or condition of the missing children, he may be facing a charge of obstructing a peace officer, punishable by up to 2 years in prison. This isn't about taking the children, it's about hiding knowledge. Geddes repeatedly claimed he knew where Lilly and Jack were, but never shared the full details. Is his silence a strategic shield, or a criminal admission? On mischief endangering life, Section 430. If Geddes' statements misled the public or diverted law enforcement resources, argument could be made for mischief that endangers life. That offense carries up to life imprisonment when it's serious enough. Here's how it plays out. Geddes issued repeated public claims without evidence. He directed search efforts online. He solicited attention, and possibly donations. Police had to allocate manpower toward verifying his claims. If the RCMP proves this was intentional misinformation, it transforms his role from tipster to culpable actor. On conspiracy, Section 465. Legal experts suggest RCMP may pursue charges of criminal conspiracy, not necessarily for kidnapping, but for the orchestration of a coordinated disappearance. If Geddes helped plan, or supported, any effort to remove Lilly and Jack to places with no intent of public disclosure, that could qualify. Even assisting in abduction or custodial interference can support conspiracy charges. That transforms the case from a missing persons investigation into a suppressed disappearance. Why it matters? This isn't just about pinning charges on Geddes. It's about establishing legal precedent and reclaiming the narrative. If charges are laid, RCMP gains leverage to demand evidence, phone logs, witness statements, financial trails. Media gets a clearer storyline, no more speculation, just court filings. Online sleuths and critics get clarity, either Geddes backs up his claims, or faces consequences. Most importantly, it sends a signal to anyone holding off the grid information that silence carries risk. The timing is critical. If arrests happen before Geddes can point to Lilly and Jack's location, it strengthens the prosecution's position that this was never a rescue, it was a deception. But if Geddes does produce evidence after charges are laid, that changes everything. Is the RCMP charging Geddes to force disclosure, or to shut him down? Is this a tactical move to break the silence? Or the endgame, preparing to bury yet another missing persons case? What we're watching for. Warrants executed, for Geddes' devices, messages, and vehicle records. Anyone else charged, Logan and Mackenzie. Daniel Martel. Court documents will detail the nature of Geddes' alleged misleading acts. RCMP press release will signal whether this goes public soon, or stays behind a publication ban. The investigation has turned from a search for children to a search for accountability. And if those charges come, they'll tell us a lot about what the RCMP believes, and how deep this story really runs. Will the charges break the case open, or close it shut? That decision will determine whether Lilly and Jack are ever found, or whether the world will be left only with questions. It's been over 2 months since Lilly and Jack Sullivan vanished. No confirmed sightings. No remains. No charges, until now. And yet, one man keeps claiming he knows. But Darren Geddes didn't file a police report. He didn't hand over proof. He posted cryptic messages, dropped audio leaks, and watched the storm unfold. Now, as the RCMP prepares to move forward, the question isn't just where are the kids? It's who's been standing in the way of finding them. Was this a rescue mission gone off-grid? Or a well-dressed lie to buy time? Every missed answer keeps the kids hidden. And every delay risks burying the truth. So we ask, what would you do if your child disappeared, and the person claiming to know, refused to help? Drop a comment. Do you believe Lilly and Jack are alive? And should the RCMP arrest Darren Geddes and others to finally get the truth? Share this documentary. The more people see it, the harder it is for the silence to hold. Subscribe to this channel for real cases, real questions, and real consequences. Because sometimes, justice isn't loud. It waits, in the quiet, until someone finally listens. Stay safe, and stay connected for future updates on this case and others that are even more disturbing. Thank you for watching. It's True Crime O'Clock.